T-minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. All three engines up and burning. 2, 1, 0, and...
Welcome, everybody, back to the original Jeek podcast. We are your hosts, Rockinmrmagic,
UniqDNA.
This is the original Jeek podcast.
Gang. I don't see no competition in my face. If we do, then we just move them out the way. I don't even need no money in my face. Hold on. Give me the money when I finish with the gang.
And welcome back, folks. Got another pod for y'all to rock to. This one may not be as fun as some of the other ones we tend to have because we got some serious topics to talk about, starting with the very somber topic of the investigation into the NCAA and its, let's say, lack of control over what's going on in recruiting. Most notably in the news, head coach of the University of Arizona men's basketball program, Sean Miller, was caught on a wiretap, referring to offering $100,000 to a current member of the Arizona basketball team. Amongst other, there's tons of stuff coming out of this investigation. Coupled with the Michigan State incidents that are still, being worked through, and even doubling down onto, years ago with Penn State, Larry Brown at SMU recently as well. The NCAA is just, it's a mess. There's a whole lot going on that is just, like you said, it's a mess. What are your thoughts on just the state, especially of college basketball right now?
Man, so yeah, like I said, I think it's a mess. But the thing that it's a good thing that all this is coming out. It needs to come out because obviously this has been going on for a long time. We look at the Michigan State deal that's been going on for too long.
Yeah, way too long.
And Penn State was another one that went on for
way too long.
So obviously, for a very long time, probably longer than we know, NCAA has not had control over what they thought or what they led us to believe they had control over, in so many different ways. Obviously, with ethically, morally, legally. Everything that they claim they had under control. So I think it was good. It's finally coming out. It's clearing the air. Like we talked about last time on the last episode. Hopefully this weeds out the bad ones. The bad leaders, the bad administrators, and all of that, and get some good people in there that can turn this thing around. Because I think we do need college sports for scholarships and things like that. I think for a long time, the whole players being paid thing has been a long overdue debate that I think with all of this might finally come out to something a little bit more than it has in the past.
Mm-hmm.
I don't necessarily agree with the FBI being involved. Obviously, there's some criminal things in there. I don't know all the details, but I'm sure there's some tax evasion and different things like that. So yeah, obviously, for those things, authorities need to be involved. But players being played, that's a rule. Nobody says the NCAA says players shouldn't be paid. Dang, getting tongue time like you.
Well, and to that effect, in a way they are paid in that. Obviously, they're getting, if they use the entire thing, they're getting a free education. And
right
on the school, we're talking about $70,000, $80,000, $100,000 education. They're also getting, putting on the scholarship. They're getting, they're getting board. They're getting food. They're also getting, they're getting sneakers. They're getting. I lost my train of thought. Oh, and depending upon the university, of course, we're talking big universities. Your Michigans, your Alabamas, your Ohio States, your USCs. these players are also getting a stipend.
True.
So, these people, these kids, obviously the university makes, and if they have a strong program, whether it's football, with like the Alabamas and USC's, or it's basketball, with the the North Carolinas and the Dukes and the Kentuckys, whatever their big school, whatever the big sport is, that sport and the players are making the university just an insane amount of money, through ticket sales and TV deals and jersey sales and all that. So there always has been the players are the ones people come to see, but they're not getting compensated for that, which I think is not a valid argument. I understand the argument, but also, again, you're going to school. A lot of the players go to school, on full rides. Yes, there are walk-ons. Yes, there are partial scholarships. You have to earn the rest. But the majority of your players at top flight programs are scholarship players. And they are generating money that gets used for the athletic department, but also to other aspects of the university as well. So
that's true. But I mean, we're talking with the big schools, we're talking millions.
Millions and millions of dollars. Yeah.
Millions.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
millions of dollars. Yeah.
I know it takes a lot to run an athletic department. You got maintenance, field maintenance, court maintenance, you got lights and all that stuff. But I don't think the overhead equates to anywhere near what they're making off of ticket sales and TV deals, sponsorship deals. Even just the players' images on, when they do these promo,
they can use the players. Yeah, they can use the players' images, but they cancel the jersey with the player's name because then they obviously have to pay the player.
Well, yeah, of course, but I mean, even look at video, like we're all geeks and nerds here. Look at video games. You're selling the NCAA games are selling. They're not as much as they used to, but selling millions.
They can't even make them now because of the Ed O'Bannon lawsuit.
Well, yeah, but I mean, in the past, that was that was the reason for all of that.
Oh yeah, imagine being Ed O'Bannon and so like, hey, I was playing you on, this college game, and he's like, what? And
exactly,
he put it on it. It looks like him, and it doesn't have his name. It's just got his number. And
especially now, I mean, back in back in the 90s, he's like, it's just his number. But now, I mean, these games, they look like them.
Oh yeah.
So, I mean, like this. I think it's just is and what is it for football is what one in, I forget the statistics, but it's like 1 in every 100,000 makes it to the NFL or something like that.
Something
basketball, something crazy like that too. So I mean, you got to figure. They're making millions.
Think of how many players are on a football team. You're talking about a 40-man roster, and if you're at a big program, let's say you're at a major blue blood football program. You're at a Michigan, Ohio State, Alabama, USC. You're at a big blue blood program. You're talking about at least every year a maximum of 5 players from your program are going to be drafted into the NFL. Right. The rest of those guys become insurance agents, car dealership salesmen, they go into business, and they become lawyers or attorneys and stuff like that.
And that's kind of my argument is that they'll never make what those top 5 or top. I don't even know if it's top 5, maybe even top 3 players that are making in the NFL. They're going to be regular Joe Schmoes like us and just making, maybe 100,000, 60,000 a year or whatever.
Well, basketball's a little different because you do have the option to go overseas. Oh, and you're not going to make the money you would make in the NFL.
But even overseas, you're making, I mean.
Well, you're not making millions of dollars, but you can make a living playing pro ball overseas.
Yeah, absolutely.
And be making more than you would be by sitting behind a desk. You could go to, a friend of mine played ball in pro ball in Columbia for years. I mean, he was making $50,000-$60,000, but who the two of us would jump at the moment's chance to make $50,000-$60,000 just to play ball,
Yeah.
for a 40-game season or whatever. We would jump at that chance. So basketball's a little different because you have more opportunities. You have Europe, you have the Philippines, you've got China, you've got South America. There's a lot more options than with football, where it's the NFL, and there's a couple leagues out there overseas, but no one knows about them, and there's no one even. Like, you have to be really into football.
You can say nobody cares. You can say
nobody in this States cares about it.
Except for their mom and their grandma. Right. Nobody's even watching them.
I remember when I bumped into Austin Scott, and I was talking to him, and I was like, what you doing with yourself? He's, I want to try playing in Germany. I'm like, oh, cool. I didn't have the heart to tell them that I had no idea that they were playing American football in Germany or that it was any type of professional level. Yeah. I was just like, good for you, bro. You'll get your money any way you can. If you can get your money playing, get your money playing. And if it's in Germany, okay. Yeah. But the options are slimmer there. But I mean, and this is obviously, we know this is not a new thing. This ties back into the Steve Fisher scandal, at Michigan, and so many others that have come and gone in basketball, with point shaving at Boston College to I forget what the program is, but there's so many scandals that have happened. Even Connie Hawkins getting blackballed because they said he threw games and he never did.
But I think if we just paid them something, right? Because I mean, you got to remember too, like, these are 18, 19, 20.
But see, even if we paid them, I don't think that stops this, because you still have to vie to get the top talent to come to your school, and that's the only reason why they're offering money underneath the rules, is to get the top talent. To be successful, to win, you still have to get the top talent. So even if every D1 college basketball player got paid, which also would be a bigger problem, because you'd have a D1 school, a small D1 school, and then their guys are like, well, why are we not getting paid what the guys at UCLA are getting paid? And why are the guys at Michigan getting paid more than the guys at Northwestern? And why are the Nebraska guys, they don't get half of what the guys get at North Carolina? Well, because Nebraska sucks at basketball, that's why. And then we have to be like, okay, now life isn't fair, but I'm a D1 athlete. I should get this amount of money. Everybody should get the same amount of money. No, you shouldn't.
Yeah, but I mean,
and that causes an even bigger problem if you're paying everybody. So what do you pay D2 players and D3 players? They get half of what D2 makes, and D2 gets half of what D1 makes. And does your squad have to have a certain criteria to get top dollars compared to like a Nebraska or a Northwestern whose basketball team, or a Penn State whose basketball teams are utter garbage compared?
They're basically getting it anyway, right? Like, the top teams are getting they're getting the ad revenue, they're getting the ticket sales, they're getting the jersey sales, they're getting the money anyway for being the top school. So
that's what the school itself gets. But the thing is, if you're paying players, who determines who pays the players? Is the NCAA paying the players, or is the school paying the players? Because if the school's paying the players, then of course, okay, it should come out of what the school generates for that program. But if it's the NCAA, if it's the NCAA, almost an NAACP, if the NCAA is paying the players, then it becomes just an entirely ridiculous, convoluted mess as far as who gets what and who deserves what. Especially because if you're look at your VCU. Okay, you're not a big school. but
Right.
but you win your conference all the time. You get into the tournament and you make noise every year, and you made some upsets. Same with Wichita State, Gonzaga, and others. So you're small schools, but you make noise. You show up in the tournament, you make a little noise here and there, and so what's fair for you to get? Because you're not Duke, you're not North Carolina, you're not Michigan State, you're not Kentucky, you're not getting prima donna players, but you are overachieving for the size of your school. Butler, as another example, you're overachieving, you're making noise, you're generating money for the NCAA, especially come tournament time, because everybody loves those Cinderella squads that come out of nowhere and have deep runs. So what does a school like Lehigh get? Because they've made their noise and upsetting Duke, and George Mason, who will forever be known for that one tournament run they had, and half the country didn't even know they existed, and the other half that knew they existed did not know where they were located.
True, but I think there's somebody out there way smarter than us probably that could calculate how much how much each school is bringing in, and then because the NCAA is making, it's not like the schools are the only ones making money off of this. NCAA is making a good portion of money off of this too, so they can be the governing authority, similar to the NBA, how the NBA pays out portion to the owners and different things like that. I don't know. I think it could be worked out. If we can do it with the NBA, I don't see why we can't do it with. Obviously,
the NBA is so different. That's an actual business.
Yeah, but
the NCAA is a business that pretends it's not a business because they talk about student athletes like, it's a.
That's what I'm saying. They're a business. At the end of the day, they're a business.
Right, but they're a business affiliated with an educational, institution. So when you're talking about student athletes, which is obviously what they are, even though they're in ways not treated like that, whose amateur status should mean something still. Then you're talking about potentially putting them in jeopardy for qualifying for other things, especially if we're talking about and people forget how many two-sport athletes there are. So if everyone's now getting paid and they're no longer amateurs, how does that impact a person, let's say like a Russell Wilson who played college baseball and football? Is that going to jeopardize his eligibility for one or the other? Think about the Drew Hensons, the Bo Jacksons, the players, the Deion Sanderses, the players that play multiple sports, the people who have Olympic dreams. They play a sport, but they want to play Olympics, or they want Olympics. They want to run track or whatever it happens to be. If they're getting paid now, how does that impact other sports? If we just we're going to pay the basketball players. What if that basketball player runs track and now he can't compete in the Goodwill Games, or he plays baseball and now he's lost his amateur status, so now he's got to either try to play the minors, which conflicts with his schedule, or whatever. Like that causes a lot of problems. There's so many layers to this that we can't just solve it by saying, hey, we're going to throw money at at these kids.
I'm not saying just go out and just start throwing money, but I think there has to be some way to kind of balance the playing field, right? Because the reason why these kids why all this under the table stuff is happening is because they're not getting paid, they're not getting money, and they're not. But
well, let me put it this way: Jalen Rose was talking about all the time how, it was concerned as far his concern is players like him who came from not that well-off families like his in Detroit and others, didn't have money at times for food, didn't have money for clothes, and things of that nature. They didn't have the necessities. So that's why a lot of these schools now have stipends. So if a school has a stipend and your needs are being taken care of, and you've got money for food and your bills, your dorm is paid for, whatever, then what else is the need to get paid for? if it's the case that you can't and it makes sense, because if you can't afford food and you need to eat and you can't even perform as an athlete if you're not properly nourished, because I understand the temptation to take money is stronger, but when you're Terrell Pryor, okay, you're not, as much as they try to make it sound like he's from the hood, he ain't hood. Okay, dude is from Jeanette. Okay, I used to run track out there. Jeanette ain't the hood. Okay, Jeanette, PA is not hood. Jeanette, PA is like it's a suburb. It's not hood. It's not Wilkinsburg. It ain't the Hill District. It's not downtown Pittsburgh. It is not Penn Hills. It's Jeanette. I mean, look at the name. It's Jeanette. It sounds suburban, like, and he's pushing what is it, $80,000 Nissan, and selling his stuff, like, and being compensated obviously for inappropriately according to now that rule I think is kind of stupid. I think you can sell your own memorabilia. I think that's a stupid rule, and there are some stupid rules I think the NCAA needs to get rid of. The transfer rule needs to be done. If a coach could leave and be at a school the next year, then the player should be able to leave and go to another school and play the next year too. They shouldn't have to sit out. That's just dumb. The fifth-year graduate rule, I think, is stupid too. If they're a fifth-year player and they're a graduate player, they should be able to, transfer if they want to or stay where they want to. There shouldn't be a whole bunch of stupid paperwork they have to do. If they're eligible, they're eligible. Like, it's not that hard to determine eligibility. If a player gets hurt in the first couple of weeks, first two, let's say three weeks of the season, boom, automatically eligible to be, injury redshirted and have another year eligibility. Like that's not hard. They make some things all convoluted that don't need to be convoluted. Those things can be very, very simple. And I think if you eliminate some of those simple things, you eliminate some of the redshirting problems, you eliminate some of, the whole thing of memorabilia. It's your memorabilia. We win a championship ring, you want to sell it, that's your business. That there's nothing wrong with that. So that to me, that rule needs to go away, and you'll probably hear a lot less of this stuff too. But I just don't want to see if, again, not all programs have stipends, but if major programs have stipends and these kids are being fed, they're being clothed on top of their free education, and half of that's going to be the easiest free education anybody can get, because half of them are taking basket weaving, and a lot of them do. Some of them do take their education seriously, and I applaud them. But a lot of them are taking easy. Rashad McCants talk about how easy the classes that he wasn't going to were. Like, they're giving you nothing classes to do so you can get your grade. You have a GPA that's high enough to pass so you can play, and education obviously is about finding a job. And when your job is, is going to be athletics, you should respect yourself enough to get an education. So when your body doesn't allow you to perform at that level anymore, you can still make a living. But if you choose to be ignorant and not to, it's about finding a job. They should be preparing you for finding a job. So they should say, okay, are you a one and doneer? And this is probably what Coach Cal does. Like, are you going to be one and done? You are? Okay. Here's the classes you're going to take. You're going to take a couple of requirements, but you're also going to take a class about how to do things like an adult, like how to write a check. Like, here's a business life class. Here's a life finance class. You're going to take this because eventually you're going to get paid millions of dollars. And I really hope you don't end up like one of these broke millionaires who get all this money and then lose it because you're stupid. You let all your friends take it. You want to take everybody else's bills. You want to throw parties all the time. Then you bust your leg, and then you don't make no money no more. And then you broke. And then you're coming back here hoping for a job and wondering if you can get an education that you probably aren't going to get because you obviously no longer on scholarship anymore. So, you don't want those players to become those type of stores. You don't want it to be, a Jay Williams situation, where he was gracious. Duke was gracious enough to let him come back and study after the fool busted his leg on that motorcycle, and yes, I call him a fool. Your contract says don't. Your contract says don't ride a motorcycle. You're getting paid that much money. Don't ride the motorcycle. It's not hard, but you don't want your players, especially your one and doners, and if that's your bread and butter, like is for Coach Cal, bringing in one and doners and getting them into the league, you want to at least do your best to set them up for success as much as possible. So, some structure and some common sense would go miles in this situation, and alleviating clearing out some of the quote unquote needs for players getting paid. But I've never seen a player that was paid or compensated in some way that was on a normal, reasonable level. It's it's LeBron's Hummer, but his mom's on welfare. It's right. Louis Bullock in the $40,000 Ford Explorer Expedition or whatever it was, and they got in that car accident with him and Tractor and Mo Taylor. It's the money that they say that C. Webb's family got, from Ed Martin. It's this 100,000 Sean Miller is talking about. This isn't, hey, I gave you $200 because you needed to eat.
Nah, I hear you.
It's never that. It's never that. And when it is that, because Jalen Rose testified, Ed Martin gave me money because I needed food, I needed clothes, and that was it. And he didn't get in trouble, and none of the Michigan sanctions happened because of that. Like, no one's ever found anyone in contempt for that. No one has, I don't know a single case where a player who got a couple dollars to feed themselves was ever suspended, kicked off a team, or for anything. It's always these people who are getting $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 to $100,000 so that they can go to a school, so that school can hopefully win and make, 20 times or more the return on investment. That's always what it is. And I don't think paying players is going to alleviate that at all, because they still got to get the top talent so they can still make that ROI.
I just think the way I see it is, as a player, I'm more looking from the player's perspective, right? I'm 18, 19 years old. This guy's coming to me offering me a free ride, stipend, whatever else, right? And then I got maybe 6 or 7 schools doing the same thing. I know, and everybody knows, I'm gonna be in my mind already. I'm gonna be top talent. I'm selling millions of thousands of jerseys. I'm bringing ad revenue to the school. I know how much money or potential money I could bring to the school. So, if I'm picking between 6 schools, I'm gonna go to school with that sliding me the money under the table, right? Because I know that they making money off my jersey. At the end of the day, they're making money off of my jersey. They're making money off of my images, my pictures, my my little promo things they have me do, or whatever, right? So that's more where I mean when I say, like, you might as well pay him anyway, because that's really where it's going to go. And that's why it's happening under the table. That's why it's happening behind closed doors. And now it's all coming out, is because at the end of the day, these kids are, they're not stupid now, especially now with the internet. I mean, come on. Anybody can Google it today and figure out how much the NFL or the NCAA is making off of, the top college players. Right? It's not hard to figure out. So at the end of the day, I'm going to be like, you know what? Because like you said, and like we said before, the potential for me to go pro is real slim. But if I can make a, quick $200,000-$300,000 while I'm here, and then also maybe go pro, why not? Because I might not get this chance again, especially when, like we talked about, especially like with football.
I don't know. For me, like, it's never worth the potential damage. It's for me, even especially if it's if they're sliding it to me, it's not even worth. It's not even worth the government headache. It's not even worth it getting. All of a sudden, now I'm getting audited by the
Oh
IRS.
yeah, of course.
It's not. It's to me, it's not worth the risk, especially.
Yeah, but we're also in our 30s and we
Well,
know
no,
better.
but no, but even when I was playing, and I was and recruiting was a thing for me, like even then, it was not worth it to me because if I'm that good, where I'm going to be able to play pro, that's where the money is safe, where I can get it and I don't have to worry about I don't have to worry about any kickbacks. I don't have to worry about any problems. And also, if I'm smart and I don't do that, I don't take any money, stuff like that. God forbid if something were bad to happen, like a Jay Williams or something like that, where I get hurt, I can't play anymore. I could, the school could still be gracious and say, "Hey, we'll still honor your scholarship, and let you go to school for free here, and continue finish your education." That a lot of schools have done for players. Even I remember, in Hoop Dreams, where William Gates was going to Marquette, and they're like, "Hey, you come to this school, we believe in you. You play for us, but if you're playing for us, you blow your knee and you can never play again. You still have an education for free from the University of Marquette." Like that is something that has just loads of intrinsic value beyond what you can get, and the average of 2.5 years of a professional athletic career.
I hear you. I just think there's got to be some kind of balance, and I don't think I don't think they're getting enough. You know what I mean? And that's why at the end of the day, all these kids know it, right? They know when you're getting scouted.
But the thing is, here's the thing. You and I both know that when it comes to paying only. Let's see what there's 32 or there's what 30 NBA teams 32 NBA teams. Okay, 32 NBA teams. That's 64 picks in two rounds of a draft. You and I know 15 of those 64 matter.
Yeah,
and 15 of the 64 truly don't even, aren't really even going to, and half of those 15 really aren't even going to pan out to be anything super special. Exactly. The other ones are just going to be okay or role players. The rest, if they're fortunate enough, can go play overseas because they won't make the team. They'll get released or whatever.
Yeah.
But so we're talking about a very slim margin. They're not worth. And they're the money that you get out of them. Yes, it's great if you can get money, if you can use them. If the schools can use them, get money out of them. But for the player, if you're going to go and you're going to put yourself in jeopardy,
Well, I'm saying that's what I'm saying.
You've got the thing is, if you're going to do that, it's got to be worth it for you. Like I can understand if a player gets an offer from a school and they say, we're going to give you $20,000, okay, and he's going to Miami, Ohio. Okay, I could completely understand why he'd take that money because it's extremely unlikely that he's going to make it pro.
I hear you, and I'm not saying they should do it under the table. What I'm saying is just get rid of the rule altogether. And if that, because it's happening anyways, what I'm saying, it's happening anyway. So why even?
But see, the thing is, you can't make it a rule because then you know what you're going to get. You're going to get what you get in the NBA, where people were because you have a salary cap, and then you're going to have certain schools that complain. Well, I can't afford to get this person, and I want to get this person, and why can't I? And then you're going to get that. And they're not going to treat it like baseball because the NCAA is about getting money for themselves and their organization. They don't care about the schools. So if they can make the schools fight amongst each other and all that they'll love that. So they're not going to treat it like baseball where there's no salary cap or bigger schools, where the bigger ones with the money can get the best players. Because if that's the case, then you're going to have for most people, you're going to have a terrible product. You're going to have 10 fan bases that are overjoyed because their schools get all the players and because they can afford to give them the money. And you're going to have, players that would be going to other schools not going to those schools because they're getting paid. You will have, and your level of competition will go down because you will have players who are getting paid to be there who will be more satisfied sitting the bench than competing and working hard for a spot because they would rather get paid and sit the bench than to go to a school where they're not going to get paid or get less and play because they're getting paid.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a double-edged sword. I don't know. I don't know what the answer is. All I know is right now, college basketball is in trouble.
Right, and I'll tell you what. If I was rich, and if anyone's rich is listening, please cut me in. I'm not a greedy man. Just 5% for me and UniqDNA to split. That's all we're asking. If you've got the money, now is the time to either invest into the G League or like starting a team and applying to start a team in your area, or to create a league that would be serviceable and entertaining as a go-between between the NBA and high school basketball. And here's why. NBA scouts do not like going to AAU tournaments. NBA scouts loathe going to high school gyms. They've graduated beyond that. Also, NBA scouts want to look at film against better competition than high school. They want to see how you compare against the best of the best. And you get more of that on the college level. They want to see that game film. They want to see you live. Because of the destructive and disaster that the NCAA is, especially on the basketball side, if there's a league that isn't trying to compete with the NBA, so we're not talking about an XFL type thing. If there's just a league that is like the current ABA, for example, where you're out there, you've got teams, you're in go-between, or it's good, it's great, it's good competition. Obviously not the best, but on par with college basketball.
It's the minor leagues.
Yeah, it's you create a minor league. That way they can see how good you are. They can see you can see your intangibles. They can see film against stiffer, better, grown competition, and not, as good as he is, Zion Williamson is a man among boys. I mean, he's had a man's body since he was 14, 15 years old. Of course he's dunking all over his body. He's facing 16-year-old and 17-year-old kids who are 5'9".
Yeah.
And he's 6'7", and he's young guy. Obviously, he's played tough competition, but when he's played a lot of that tough competition, like Jalen, I forget his last name. I always can mix up with Jalen Brown, who's like Jalen's he's one of the top 5 high school players. Zion's team loses when they face stiff competition because it's just him. And most of the talent that he destroys are just regular run-of-the-mill high school kids.
Yeah.
So if you have a go-between a minor league that you could definitely definitely be done, and it could be done in setups very similar to the way college sports is that it's spread out all over the country, and you can have a playoff, and I'm going to call it the Tournament of Champions. Everyone's in a division in their area, and your division champions go into a tournament. And that's your Tournament of Champions, and you go through like March Madness. That way, there's no voting and who's coming in, who's coming out. You win your division, you get in. There's no question about it. There's no does this team deserve to get in? Does this team deserve it? No, you win your division, you're in. You get in the tournament, you play your one and done to the tournament, and at the end, you got a champion. And then you make sure your season is not congruent with the NBA. You make it more of a spring into. It's got probably congruent a little bit because of how long the NBA season is, but you have your season be, oh man, because you want your players to be available for the draft, which is the draft is what? The draft is after the finals. The draft is what? June? Late June?
Yeah, somewhere around there.
Okay, so draft is late June. So Actually, no. You just run your season shorter than the NBA, but congruent with it. And you have your because you do what the college basketball does. You start in October, and you end in March. That way, before the NBA playoffs start, and then the focus on the NBA playoffs. Your players get to rest their bodies a bit, prepare for the draft if they get drafted. If not, they still have a place to play and work. And they're still making money playing bar basketball. They don't have to go overseas. They don't have to learn a new language. They can play domestically and get deals at local car dealerships because they're a local celebrity and make some extra money that way. And sports agents will be happy because they can make money off of some of the smaller guys. They can send their junior agents that are just starting out there and let their big dogs work on the big money, and everybody's happy. That is what could alleviate this problem between high school sports to pro, especially when it comes to basketball. Unfortunately, I don't have the money to put this in place, or I'd have done it already. And, I would be on the cover of Sports Illustrated about how I changed the landscape of pro sports. But unfortunately, I digress, and I'll just have to have someone help me do that. I'm calling all rich people, come help me make this happen. And he said, 5% for me and UniqDNA. Well, not greedy at all.
Nah, not at all.
But what do you can tell me what you think of my scenario that I just blasted upon you?
I think it works. I think it's definitely, you need something there because not all. There's just so much talent out there and not enough scouts that college scouts don't even have enough time to go see everybody. It's more it's really like the top, unless you got to be the top, or you got to find some way to get your tape in their face, their film,
right.
your film, so
or you just need to have a great dunk video go viral.
Yeah. Well, now, with the internet, yeah.
Right.
I'm thinking about when we were in high school. It was different.
We have to make tapes and send a physical VHS to a scout
and hope they watch it.
And hope they watch it. Hope the music we dubbed on it sounds good, and the cheap effects. Well, this back then.
So, now it's like, especially now, and that's a good point too, especially now with the internet and all that.
You've got
a college scout, you can kind of just sit back on your laptop for 3 hours and sift through some videos on the internet.
A college scout logs in the huddle and watches a kid's video.
Yeah, that's it.
Come on.
So I think you need something like that. And to your point, AAU, it's pay to play for the most part.
Oh yeah.
As much as they have tryouts, it's pay to play, and so, again, you fall into the trap of the kids that have the most money, the ones that get to play, and they're the ones that get scouted, and they're the ones that get discovered and all that. If they still got to have the talent, but,
right.
At least you can get them in front of a scout. Maybe not the best scout, but you get them in front of somebody.
Exactly. They're getting some type of FaceTime.
And then now, JUCO is kind of turned into the same thing.
Yeah, JUCO, unfortunately, is barely worth a mention anymore.
So
sadly, because it used to be a solid option to get yourself into college, but JUCO players, those stories are few and far between nowadays. The Sean Kemp type stories and stuff, those don't happen. Those don't happen anymore.
So I think you need something like that, and I think you need something to kind of knock. I know we said it's not going to compete, but I think you need something to knock the NCAA off the high.
Well, you do, and I hope that Ball never hears this because he talked about starting a league. Unfortunately, his desire is to start a league is just so he can sell his T-shirts and promote his kids. But a minor league is the way to go. It really is. I've been saying it for a while. A minor league is the way to go, especially because I think it's ridiculous that the whole point of education, high school, college, is to get a job. And if you can get a job playing sports, more power to you. And there shouldn't be any restrictions on when you can go to work once you're 18 years old and how long you have to wait to work. The whole one and done rule is stupid. It's dumb, and you shouldn't be restricting these kids on when and how they should be able to work. If they can get a job playing sports, Why are you stopping them? They're entertaining people. It's still the cleanest form of entertainment we can get in this country, or any country for that matter. Why would you restrict that, especially with how popular minor league sports are? Minor league baseball is extremely popular. Still is. It's a great family time. People go just for the environment, for goodness sake. And it's affordable because, unfortunately, NBA games aren't affordable.
No.
NFL games aren't affordable. I think the only pro sport that's really affordable right now is sometimes baseball and hockey. And hockey's not that affordable depending upon who you're a fan of. If you're a fan of the Red Wings like myself, and they're always in the playoffs and they have a deep, rich history, that's not that much of an affordable ticket.
No.
So, yeah, so it's still a pro sport. So if you had a minor league basketball system where and honestly, I don't think they should go as deep as baseball does, as far as single A, double A, triple A. But if you've got a single or even eventually a dual layered minor league system, it just makes sense. And that way you can have basketball all over the country, and you can give basketball to some of those cities who can't maintain a pro team, but could maintain a minor league team. Places like Pittsburgh, a city like Des Moines, places in Lincoln, Nebraska, places where you just would not put an NBA team. They don't have the demographics for it, but if they have a love for the people love basketball all over the place. You could have a team in Wyoming then, and a team in Vegas, and in Nevada, and stuff like that. Like you can legitimately do it without having to worry about not being able to make money with your demographics.
Yeah. I think there needs to be something, and to the whole point, like I said, of this conversation is just like, we need something that is gonna disrupt the NCAA and make them, at least change some of these rules. They don't have to get rid of all of them, because some of them are there for the benefit of the schools and different things, but some of them are just stupid.
Oh yeah,
and,
I agree.
And then you put, and then the thing that really kills it is like you put these kids under all these restrictions. The kids, they're 18, 19, 20 years old, 21, 22, whatever. They're going they're coming straight out of high school, no structure, no nothing, and you're putting them under these restrictions as if they were paid players, as if they were professional players. These are the restrictions you're putting them under, and then everybody's up in arms when they don't follow the rules. What do you expect?
Well, it's not even restrictions. I mean, look at Louisville. They're throwing women at these kids.
Well, yeah, that's different. I'm talking about,
like,
we talk about the money and
the money. Yeah, tell the kid
the red shirt for injuries and transfers and all. Like, come on.
Yeah, a lot of that stuff is stupid.
That's stuff you do to professionals. To people who understand business.
Well, it's something you do for adults,
right?
Because they're legal age, they still haven't grown. They're still not men and women yet.
Exactly.
They're still big kids.
Exactly.
Right.
So,
we've taken our time, and we were supposed to have multiple topics, but we took and just made this like a one topic episode. So we apologize for that. We were going to talk about, some of the stuff like, JJ, and we're going to hit these real quick. Okay, JJ Redick.
All right.
Okay, JJ Redick, I don't want to hear the excuses. I want to hear that you messed up your words or any of that crap, okay? You said a racial slur, JJ, on freaking Chinese New Year to Chinese people. It's offensive. You're wrong. And the fact that it isn't being blown up or made a big deal of it is also ridiculously ridiculously what's the word I'm looking for?
Hypocritical.
Yeah, it's hypocritical of all the news outlets, ESPN, Fox Sports, all of them dropping the ball. He used a racial slur. If he said something racial against black people, against Hispanics, he said something against women, they would be roasting him right now. The fact that they ignored it because it's a Chinese racial slur is ridiculous. Okay, yeah, there's a huge Chinese fan base. Insulting them is not smart. It just isn't. Okay, there's no excuse for him getting a pass for that. It's just ridiculous. I can't even. I expected out of somebody from Duke because they have a elitist attitude.
Hey.
But just the fact that they do nothing to address it is ridiculous. All right, number 2, Red Dead Redemption 2 got pushed back.
I knew this was gonna happen. I'm not even surprised. I mean, when they announced in what was it, January or December, that they were going to have this press conference or whatever,
yeah.
I already knew. I was like, they're pushing it back again.
But here's the thing, though. It's Rockstar. I don't care if Rockstar pushes it back because Rockstar does not fail to deliver the mail. So when they deliver, they deliver.
Yeah. I'm not at all upset. I mean, I'm upset because I'm not going to get to play it earlier than I wanted to play it. I got to wait till October now.
Well, it was October, but it's October.
Late October now.
Yeah, they pushed it back a couple weeks.
But yeah, I'm not surprised. What I am a little concerned about is because they don't usually. This is new for Rockstar to push back twice now. This is the second time they pushed it back.
This is true.
So I'm a little concerned. Are they reaching too far and they're overextending? And could this be the first Rockstar dud? That's what I'm wondering.
I don't know. I don't see that. I
don't see it.
I can't see that. Rockstar that doesn't exist. I can't see that.
I gotta put a little controversy in there. But yeah,
okay.
I mean,
wait. Controversy. You want to talk about controversy? Let's talk about Zaza Pachulia. Okay. Zaza Pachulia. I hope someone have you hear this because, dude, the only reason why you're in the NBA is because you're tall. Right, it's flat out. You're tall, so you have a job. You're a Donald Foyle. You're Brian Skinner. I'm sorry. Brian Skinner was a little bit better player than that. But you're a Donald Foyle. You're Eric Dampier. You're in the NBA. You're Sean Bradley. You're in the NBA because you're tall. You can't do anything else but be tall. And now all you do is hurt people. Last year, I defended you when you caused the injury to Kawhi Leonard. It didn't look intentional to me because you had your back to him. The way you just fell on Russell Westbrook, clearly on purpose, I'm no longer defending you. You're an idiot. You don't deserve to be on the Warriors. You should give your ring back, go back to wherever it is you came from, and not zelling against your country. You need to go back home because you're garbage. You can't play. You can't shoot. You can't jump. You had at least Bill Laimbeer, who couldn't run, couldn't jump, was effective. He could shoot. He was smarter than most people. He set great screens. He hit his free throws. He was a great teammate. He played great hard defense. He got rebounds despite not having any ups. Like, dude, you can't do anything. Nothing but cause injury. Just ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous to even say that I know you're not going to say you meant to play, you followed him, but anybody with eyes that watched that video clearly saw you fell on the man on purpose.
Yeah. Period.
No one bumped you from behind, no one pushed you, and then no one's skinny little basketball leg is going to make you fall at 6'11", 250 some odd pounds. The laws of physics. Like I need sports science to do the laws of physics on that fall that you say was not intentional. They will clearly prove you made yourself fall on the man. Absolutely ridiculous. The NBA needs to find this man and suspend him. I don't care how many games. I don't care if they just kick him out the league. Like, that should not happen. Period.
Sounds good to me. Moving on.
Okay, to even something more egregious and outrageous. Ray Carruth. If you don't know Ray Carruth back in the late 90s was a wide receiver for the Carolina Panthers, had a pregnant girlfriend and decided to have her murdered because he did not want a child. The mother died, but the child survived, and because of the injuries to the mother, the child now has, if my memory serves me correctly, severe cerebral palsy.
Yeah.
And has been raised by the child's grandmother.
Yep.
Now Mr. Carruth, out of prison for the murder of his girlfriend,
He's not out yet, is he?
No, I believe he's out.
He's out? I thought he was due to
No,
be released.
I believe he's either out or soon to be released. The fact is he shouldn't even get out. And the second thing is the fool wants custody of this child, who is a grown. He was grown. He's 18 years old, but he wants custody of this child because the child obviously does not have the mental capacity to live on his own. So he's going to need care for his entire life. Ray Carruth somehow thinks he can get custody of his son. Your thoughts, UniqDNA?
Did you? I don't know if you heard the snippets from the letter, but
no, I refuse to read the letter because I don't want to read idiot things out of idiot mouths.
And that's exactly what it was. I mean, highlights of the letter. He told the grandmother, "You won't be around forever, so somebody's gonna have to take over eventually."
Oh my God!
Then he apologized for
murdering her child. Nice.
And then he said, I need to be with my son because I owe him for the last 18 years. And he also said, we were never in love. The woman.
So that makes murder okay.
Yeah, we were never in love. We were never in love. It was lust. We knew that going into it, and neither one of us had any other intentions but lust, which is apparently the reason why he had her murdered in the first place.
That makes everything okay. Because if you're in lust with somebody, you could just murk them. That's okay. Yeah. That makes sense.
So to me, it clearly doesn't sound like he learned his lesson after 18 years of being in prison.
Why is this man getting out now again?
He was only supposed to get 18 and 24, and I guess I don't know. I think he should have been in there for life, but
yes.
And like I said, he clearly hasn't learned his lesson.
Clearly.
Second of all, how do you? I wouldn't even call it a plea for your child if you're attacking the woman who's taking care of your child. How do you? I mean, we all know that everybody's got to die, and obviously she's a grandmother, so she's older. But how do you even make that a statement in your plea to get your child back?
I'll tell you.
How is that even a conversation?
I'll tell you this. I bet your grandma got shooters in the street. I bet you grandma lived longer than Ray. Get out. For
real.
I bet you grandma will last longer than Ray.
I forgot the biggest one. He said, which you'll love this one. He says, we're both Christians. He said, everybody sins and all sin is the same. And I find it hypocritical that you, speaking to the grandmother, are holding my sin above your own.
Oh Lord. Oh my. Okay, I can't. I'm done. That's it. It's a wrap, y'all. That is the end of this episode. I'm done. I'm skipping the last topic. Oh my God, I can't believe that. No, I can't because I'm gonna lose my Christianity for 5 minutes. If I keep going. That ain't gonna happen.
Yeah, I read that and I was like, what?
No. Okay.
Yeah, that was my favorite one though. Everybody said
Ray. Where's the judge? Someone put Ray back in jail. Keep him in prison. Oh my Lord. Oh my God, I'm done.
I will say though, the grandmother responded and she said he'll never get his child back. He never had. Well, he'll never get custody. Sorry.
Yeah.
And she said that she appreciates the apology, even though she doesn't think it was sincere. And
clearly
doesn't think he learned it lesson. So,
oh my God,
she clearly,
good for
she
you,
knows
Grandma.
She's standing her ground.
Yes.
So that's good.
Good for the grandma. I applaud her. We need to do. Why isn't there a GoFundMe for Grandma?
Yeah.
There needs to be a GoFundMe for Ray Carruth's son and the grandma, so that when she does eventually die, there is a trust for that child to take care of that child's needs, so he can get care, nursing, either live-in nurse or visiting nurse or whatever, to keep caring for that child through his life. That is what there needs to be a GoFundMe for. If there's any cause, there needs to be a GoFundMe. It says Ray's NFL money long dried up. That needs to be a cause. That's something that people need to get behind, because that grandmother took care of that child and did the right thing, and then she's got this fool say, and ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening to the Original Jeek podcast. It's been real. I'm heated now, so I'm gonna go cool off. But as always, we are your hosts, Rockinmrmagic and UniqDNA. We thank you for listening. please like, share, and subscribe. Click the bell on YouTube if you're listening to copy this on YouTube, so you get notified of our new episodes.
Yes.
Keep up with some of our new stuff on YouTube as well. Our new show, Jeek Nation Trailer Talks, where we go over video, TV, and gaming trailers and talk about the expectations and what we like, what we don't like. And keep your eyes peeled as we're going to try to drop in some more guests as we move forward.
And speaking of gaming, we got potentially have a Twitch stream coming.
Yes, we do have a Twitch channel. We are at Jeek Nation on Twitch, and I have been remiss in some of the twitching, which I will be doing some of classic gaming, emulator style. So
I've been thinking about
and so my little girls doing that, and UniqDNA is going to do some too. We're just trying to work that out. So be patient with us. Give us some time. And
I gotta figure out what game I want to play.
Exactly.
Even though I've been thinking about Fortnite, it looks pretty cool. I might jump into that.
There you go.
It's interesting.
There you go.
I gotta go buy it first, but
no, just do the free one, like I did. Just the Rumble, it's free to play, so jump on that. I have it. I just never jumped. I've never played it. I downloaded it. I just never played it.
Cool.
So we'll jump in.
Check it out. Yeah, we can do like a dual stream or something. I don't know how to do that yet, but YouTube is good to learn that stuff.
Until we get enough people, we can get on Patreon, so we can get like some game capture cards. I'm not going to be able to capture nothing PS4 wise, but I'm just capturing on my emulators right now. But we'll eventually get there with your liking and supporting people. We love you.
Yes. And we do need to start a Patreon. We should. But we got to figure out what we're going to give away.
Oh, yeah. Well,
the bonuses.
Hey. So as far as
we'll discuss all this offline.
We'll discuss offline. But since we're talking about it, folks, if you're listening, give us ideas. What would you like? What type of Jeek Nation swag would you like? Be worth it to you to give us to us on Patreon. So we love to hear. Please comment. Again, like, share, subscribe. Thank you so much for listening. And as always, peace.
Peace.